Shechem's one of my favorite places to go because there are so many stories that are all wrapped up around this place, the ancient city of Shechem, Mount Ebal, Mount Gerizim, Jacob's well. There's so much that happens right here. But I wanted to talk about three stories that have something in common. Jacob has a daughter named Dinah who's raped by the prince of Shechem. And Dinah's brothers will all take revenge on the city. They'll have a ruse where they ask them all to be circumcised and then they'll come in and slaughter them. Another story takes place with Abimelech, who's the son of Gideon. Gideon was a good judge in the book of Judges that decided not to take on all the accoutrements of royalty, even when they were offered to him, because he wanted to respect the fact that God alone was the ruler of Israel. However, he took some special gifts and made some concessions, and then his son, Abimelech, whose name means my father, Abi, king, my father is king, decided to put on a protest against all of his other brothers, and he made himself out to be a king briefly until a military confrontation that took place here in Shechem ended up with him having a rock thrown on his head by a woman on a wall. And before he died, Abimelech said to the soldiers around him, kill me so that nobody will ever say that a woman killed me. Third story, there's a woman at the well in Sychar, right next to us here, where Jesus meets somebody at midday who's all alone at a well, and she has a story of her own that has to do with unfaithfulness and infidelity. And for that reason, she's isolated and alone and lives in a kind of a shame society with this mark of disgrace on her. And Jesus reaches out not only to a Samaritan and a woman, but to someone whose reputation is marred. In all three of these stories, there's a kind of code or a code of honor and shame that's at work. But something's at stake with respect to the family's honor. And one of the ways that you achieve honor is to actually bring shame on your enemy. Well, the guys that are in this battle with a woman in the story of Abimelech, they face another kind of a shame and honor issue, and that is that when people are in war, men usually are looking for the glory. Earlier in the book of Judges, Deborah is actually going to tell Barak, you're not going to be able to get the glory for the war because it'll be given to a woman in light of the fact that you shied away from your role in a man's world. So, of course, Abimelech doesn't want to be known for having a woman drop a stone on his head and be responsible for his death. But here we are a few millennia later reading still about the fact that that's how Abimelech died. There's this honor and shame dynamic going on in the story of Jesus, and this is really pertinent for our understanding of the gospel because Jesus is right here in the place where the covenant was first confirmed with Abraham in the new land, where Joshua asked the people to recite the curses and the blessings of the covenant, where over and over again people realized this was the place where they were going to unite themselves around their covenant with God. And Jesus was really saying to this woman, you're welcome. I'm going to ask you to make a gift to me, and in response to that, I'm going to make a gift to you. Some people find it interesting that Jesus will ask people a kind of favor like this. But in fact, Jesus was obligating himself in a world of shame and honor where he was making a reciprocal arrangement. You give me something to drink, and then I'll just stand by because I'm going to make an offer to you, and you'll have something to drink that will satisfy you forever. And that turns a Samaritan woman with that kind of a reputation into a missionary that we still talk about today.